The comments heard on The View from a Pew are those of Mac McCoy and are not necessarily the opinions of his guests, his producer Garth, any one particular denomination or religion, the church lady, Mr. Lemke, Pastor Craig, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here is today's The View from a Pew, heard all around the world on YouTube. Just search for The View from a Pew.
Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Mac McCoy, and welcome to today's version of The View from a Pew. We are live on the 27th day of August in the Lord's year 2026. We tell you that because you probably are watching or listening to this many days, weeks, months, maybe years after it's been recorded. And so there will be some things that we talk about which might be a little outdated, and you can point your finger and snicker at the computer. That's okay, because we did mess up, because we should have done a version you can hear live today. But I don't have time. But I know you have time during the morning, the midday, and the afternoon to hopefully carve out a couple of minutes and listen what's going on. The View from a Pew. All right, I want to introduce you to my special guest today. His name is Jeff Hanna, and he calls himself a senior comedian. And Jeff is one of those people that I run into during the course of what he does for a living. He came to our church, the Water's Edge here in Omaha, and did a presentation on senior comedian.
Yeah.
And the fungi is not spelled F-U-N-G-U-Y. It's fungi like a mushroom.
Correct.
It's even your T-shirt.
That's exactly correct, yes.
It smells like a mushroom.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of things about mushrooms you don't want to be, but yeah.
Oh, no, I know. All right, so give me an idea of how you got to where you are here in 2026. By the way, Jeff lives over in Des Moines, but we did not know each other in Des Moines. I met Jeff about a year ago when he came to our church.
Right.
So how did you get here, Jeff?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll shorten it up. I was a background in law enforcement, was an undercover cop. My partner was shot and killed, unfortunately. Oh. I then went kicking and screaming into the ministry and did that for a long period of time. And we had a nonprofit going and in the Des Moines area, and I was ready to retire and thought, oh, good, I can golf, I can play pickleball, and it's all going to be good.
There you
go. That went south on me fairly quickly. I went from COVID to a variety of other things, got diagnosed with, and then was ultimately told I have some nerve issues with my legs. So pickleball and running would be a disaster. I'd be taking face plants into the net, that kind of thing. And then I thought, well, golf is really tough for me. So I sat and I pouted and I sit in my recliner, and then I heard a voice, Mac. I did. It was either God Almighty, but I'm pretty sure it was my wife from the kitchen yelling, get up out of the recliner, go do something. And I decided senior comedy. I really think God put that on my heart, because I had never thought about senior comedy. I thought about doing stand-up, but senior comedy, no.
And why do you call it senior comedy?
I specifically, if I was 50 making fun of and poking fun at people who are 65 plus, it would be unprofessional and inappropriate. I'm 71, and so
you aged.
Yes, I don't know about that. Part of it might, but the rest of it not so much. But I was sitting there and I thought, this is a group that I've never heard of senior comedian. I did what everybody did. I Googled it. I didn't find senior comedians listed. So I thought there might be a niche here. So this was at the beginning of 2025. And I thought I could do a couple of these a month and have fun and bring some laughter and joy. And amazingly, it turned into far more than I expected.
Yeah, and that's the shtick or the presentation I saw. And I'm only 67, but I related.
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And why I related was I had walked my mom and dad through their passing, and they lived in one of these homes.
Sure.
That sometimes you come and visit.
Right.
And I would see people come and do these things, and I thought, oh, that's where they get it. They get their material from Jeff.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's funny, and I have activities directors calling me and saying, "Hey, we've never hired a comedian, so can you come and help us out?" Matter of fact, I'm over here in Omaha to do 4 shows in the next couple days, so
Good.
it's exciting.
At old folks' homes?
Facilities. Yeah, we don't call them that. We retirement villages for the elder certified.
Hey, I lived for 12 years next to the Good Samaritan home.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Beatrice, and those are old folks.
Yeah, yeah. No, some of these people are great and hip and cool, and it's so much fun.
One of the places that my mom and dad lived, and they were fortunate that in their life they had been successful enough in not so much making money, but saving it.
Yes.
And so as their last years rolled around, they died right short of their 95th wedding anniversary. No, I'm sorry, 75th.
75th, gotcha, yeah.
Their 95th birthday.
Wow.
And it was a situation where they passed away 5 weeks apart, which was a great blessing.
Yes.
But we would come and sit and listen to these, and I'd watch my dad laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I didn't ask him. I think I asked him once, and he told me to shut up. I said, what do you think's funny about this? He said, this is what I'm living.
Yeah,
Goes through
absolutely.
all the stuff.
Absolutely.
And so if your parents are in that type, if they're blessed enough to have that type of place to go, I would personally strongly encourage you to call whoever the activity director, that's usually
Right?
the title,
Yeah, absolutely.
and tell them to look up Jeff. And also, this will be on my website at muggedbyjesus.com. Go to videos, find The View from a Pew, and then you'll find in the headline the name, Jeff Hanna, and we'll tell you later what that's about. All right. So that's how you got here.
I did.
So I must have been one of the first shows you did.
Well, I was mid. Yeah, I was probably 6 or 7 months in. So I thought, like I say, I'd do a couple of these a month. Unbelievably, and by the grace of God, I did 60 shows last year. I'm on pace for 80 shows this year, 5 different states, and it travels. And now what I'm loving, which was the intent all along, to start getting into more and more churches. And so I'm finally hearing from churches and their senior groups and that kind of thing. So that's a new exciting thing, along with alumni associations and people, reunion committees are calling. So great, another niche. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's been I've been having doing all those. Yeah, it's been great.
We had a big 50-year reunion, and we combined 3 classes.
Sure.
And the superintendent of school called me and said, well, they decided they want an outside entertainer, MC, and we took a poll, and you're the second guy that came up on the poll. And I said, well, great. Who was the first guy? Robert Taylor? Well, you know who Robert Taylor was?
Yeah.
He was born and raised in Beatrice.
Oh, was he? Oh.
And guess who was the first?
Yeah.
Robert Taylor.
Robert Taylor, yeah.
And they said, well, he's dead. So
yeah, that's not going to work. Let's get Mac.
And it was wonderful. And I was no good at it.
Yeah.
I just looked out into the audience and said, oh, there's Scott. Mm-hmm. Scott, how you doing? What have you been up to? Oh, it looks like you put on a few pounds. Is your wife a good cook? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's just the fun we had.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Exactly. People tell me some jokes. And I really don't do many jokes. I know do a few token lame jokes at the beginning, but I basically do observational humor. Yeah. I look around and say, here's the things we're going through. How can I relate these and make them fun and exciting and that kind of thing?
Yeah. We even sat at the same table prior to your presentation, and I probably got more or at least as much out of you and I just shooting the feces over the course of lunch.
Yeah.
You were great.
Yeah, and I like to go early, get set up, and then really talk to people. Yeah. Just get to know where they're coming from. And I've had people people that are many groups of the mostly dementia and memory care, and at times I've walked away thinking, "Gosh, I don't know if I got through there." And then sure enough, I'd hear back from the activities director say, we had so many great comments, And again, I have a philosophy. I pray it every time before I do a show. Lord, help me bring laughs. If not laughs, chuckles, and if not chuckles, smiles. And if I get a smile, that's okay. That's perfect.
My dad would know the schedule of the people coming to entertain, and there would be people playing guitar, and there would be jokes, and there would be quiz, there would be trivia. But my dad always invited me to make sure I come to when somebody like you were there, because he knew that I loved hearing my dad laugh.
Yeah.
And Dad, he'd laugh out loud.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Give me an example of 3 bits that you do.
Well, one of the things, I look at lists and I think, oh my gosh, people have these comments. It's not what you think. This is a medical thing. It's not what you think. People may say, for instance, you're losing your hair. No. I have a follicle shortage. You want to be clear about that. Oh, your skin seems to be sagging a little bit. No, I have a deflation of the exterior covering. See, we can turn that around into a good thing,
You're a Democrat, right? You can make a name out of anything. Sorry.
You have wrinkles. No, you have a non-ironed epidermis is what you have. So.
I used to have a buddy, Mark Riley. He lives over in Des Moines, and he'd say, God made heads, some heads perfect. The rest of them, he gave hair.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly right. So I do these lists. I have fun there. There's even like senior diseases. I don't know if you know this. Here comes the conspiracy part. I don't know if you know they have diseases they haven't told us seniors about that we have.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a chocolate addiction, it's called Maximus Choco disorder. That's really what you have there. Maximus Choco disorder.
I know somebody I could tell that to.
If you have a craving, which a lot of folks I deal with, craving to play bingo. Yes, they haven't labeled that, but it's a benign disease. Yeah,
I love it.
And if you play card, are you a card player or no?
Yeah, but not the.
Yeah, but some people are just
back room.
It's just they want to play all the time. They have shuffleitis virus. They just haven't diagnosed it, called it what it is, but that's really what it's called.
So tell me, one of the things that you have as I would call subtitle,
right,
is Back on My Rocker.
Back on My Rocker. I just started the Back on My Rocker. It's hitting the YouTube, as older folks. It's on that there YouTube feed thing. Okay, anyway. So, but it is Back on My Rocker. I was off. I'm now back on. I'm doing short little bits, about a minute and a half, and you can pick up on those. They drop every Monday, and
they're on YouTube.
They are on YouTube,
and it's Jeff Hanna, Hanna, Back on My Rocker.
Absolutely.
So put that in YouTube, and it'll come up.
You will, yeah. And they're also I throw them onto my website, www.fourthquarterfungi.com.
Okay.
And so I have things going on. If you want to learn more about me and what's going on, you can go onto the website as well.
How long have you been doing this kind of stuff?
I've done humor all through my life. I've had some iterations of that, groups and music and fun songs and goofy stuff. But this is the first time I've really done what I'd call stand-up. And that started, as I say, January of 25. So,
but it's not really stand-up because you interact so much.
Yeah, it is. It's engaging. You know, it's just engaging old folks in a humorous way.
Well, and they need that engagement.
Yeah.
They need somebody talking to them about something other than here's your pills and let me wipe your chin.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is funny. I've started doing songs. I take a song, I rewrite the words to it, and they say, "Oh my gosh!" They sing along. They just love that. You know, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Well, you know that. If you're old and you know it, you know. So we have fun with that, and they sing along and they do a great job. And you'll see somebody that hasn't laughed, hasn't said anything. Boom! It brings it up a notch, and they start singing and having a great time.
My mother. Lost her cognizance. She wasn't there very much. And yet, when the guys would come in and do their comedy, she wasn't watching them. Her head was to the side. Her eyes were closed. But every once in a while, Dad would give her an elbow. Hey, Annie, do you think that was funny? And Mom would smile.
Yeah.
And I think she knew what was going on.
Yep.
So now, as a profession, you're really doing well. You did you said in 2025 you did 40 shows?
No, 60 shows.
60
yeah,
shows.
I'm on par for 80 this year. So.
Okay. And you do all these driving, or do you fly sometimes?
No, I actually. Well, we spent some winter out in Arizona last year. I did shows there, but for the most part, yeah, I'm going up in October to Minnesota and do 6 shows. I come here and usually do 3, 4, 5 shows at a time. I'm around Iowa and that kind of thing. Been to Ohio, which is where I'm from. Done a few shows there. Okay. But no, I don't. I try to keep it reasonable, and so for me to fly and have a hotel and all that kind of thing doesn't make it feasible for most of these facilities. Can't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a person coming in.
Do you take your bride with you most of the time?
No, she doesn't laugh that much. No, I'm just kidding. She's a wonderful laugher. I trust her. I test out things, but once she's heard a bit, my bits, and I've gone about my 5th show, different show. So I'll take a show, I'll do it for 3, 4, 5 months, dump it, go with a new show, and so I'm getting ready. My next show's in the can and ready to go in January. I do a Christmas show in December. And so because I go sometimes to places, I've been to 86, I think I looked 86 different locations. Wow. Some people have me back and I can't continue to do the same thing. So I try out new material on that.
How much prep do you do for an hour-long show?
Well, we haven't mentioned it. I do a PowerPoint along with it.
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
yes.
and that's at first I thought, well, that's kind of cheating.
No,
but it isn't. I found out it's a wonderful tool. Yes. If you can't hear me, everything I'm saying, it's on the screen. Yeah. And so, but I do signs and pictures and things people can connect to. And so, like I say, I've been working on the next show for months. And when I get an idea, I'll put it down, throw it into a PowerPoint, and I just keep dumping things in there. Now here, September, October, November, I'll start going through and refining that and put it in. My shows, when I once go out, are basically 40 to 45 minutes. Okay. I started doing an hour, and I started losing people at about 50 minutes in.
Yes. Yeah, when you hear.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I had a guy come in 5 minutes into the show. He was in the front row, fell asleep. Show went the whole time. People started clapping at the end. He opened up and he started clapping. He said, "That was absolutely wonderful."
Well, okay, so I'll tell you the same thing I tell Pastor Craig. I sit in the 3rd row back, and I do that not because I want to sit up front, because the hands of people in their hair and kids leaning over the back. And so that way I can focus.
You like to be focused.
And as a radio guy, every once in a while, I'll close my eyes. And Craig thinks I go to sleep. And I swear to him I don't. And it's a running joke now.
Yeah.
I'll sit there with my eyes closed. So he might just have had his eyes closed.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. I did a thing when I was a pastor, when people said you didn't act a lot like a pastor. I didn't know if that was a compliment or not. But I at one time got a big super soaker and pulled it out from under the pulpit and said, I've checked this out and it can reach the back pew. So if anybody starts sleeping, just point to them and slide away.
Yeah, I like that. So, do you get up in the morning and work on these every day?
I don't. I'll be watching a commercial. I'll get, and I'll take a little thing and say, "Ooh, commercial." Like I'm working on one right now. Taglines of commercials, but aimed at new people. The old "Where's the beef?" We used to do that. Just do it. Well, that's Nike. It's like, well, the senior version of that. I tried it yesterday. Not going to try it today. So
I always think it's interesting that who's the guy with the big voice? He's still doing the voice of Arby's.
Oh, yeah.
He's been dead for like 10 years.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
We've got the meat.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yes, yeah.
All right, so I appreciate you coming in today. And again, if you're watching this, you may be watching it on my website, which is muggedbyjesus.com. Your website is Fourth Quarter Fungi.
Yep, all spelled out. Fourth Quarter Fungi, Fungi.
Yeah, like the mushroom. All right. And you go to that, and a lot of your stuff is there.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I heard today in the interview that I want to remind you of, he does class reunions. He does events that are not necessarily in a rest home or in a church, although you really focus on churches. And you remind me, there's a comedian out there, and I don't know his name, but I saw him at Funny Bone once. And he was a Christian comedian who talked about Christianity, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the only place that I've ever heard those type of jokes that people all thought they were funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I would encourage you to look him up. If you ever want to get a hold of him or have a way to get a hold of him, you're always willing to reach out to me. That's Mac at theviewfromapew.com. And we thank you very much for listening today. I want to tell you that I appreciate our good worldwide sponsors, DivineTruthChristianStore.com. They are bricks and mortar here in Omaha at 84th and Harrison, but online you can get anything. And remember, it's a family-owned business, and they love Jesus just like you do. Thanks for listening to The View from a Pew.
Divine Truth Christian Store, where you'll find more.